Hello and welcome everybody to another great webinar. So today we are talking about a feature template handling with Microsoft 365. So if you don't know me, my name is Florian Neuhold and I will guide you today through this webinar. We are very happy to see you all here and I hope you will enjoy the webinar and learn a few things. So today our presenter will be our very own CPO, Dominick Cosgrove, and I'm very happy that he is also here. But first of all, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to put them into the Q&A. I promise you I will take care of them and I will have an eye on this. So we prepared also after the presentation of Dominick a few minutes to answering these questions, or if there are a lot of questions, of course, a little bit more. So do not hesitate, I will take care of this. So I think it's time for our presenter, so enjoy it and have fun. Hello, Dom. I hope you're ready to show us some great tips with templates.
Hi, Florian. Thanks for the intro. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you well, and our people can also see you right now, perfect. So that's perfect.
So let me present my screen. And sorry, Florian, 1 second.
That's no problem.
No, wrong screen.
Wrong screen, oi.
How do we change? Technical issues already.
That's absolutely no problem. I will take care of it.
Okay, perfect. Florian, thank you very much. I should now be presenting.
I will send it right now live, so your screen perfect. Is now live.
Thank you very much. So as Florian said, today's topic for the webinar is template management in WorkPoint 365. So Florian's already introduced both of us, but for those that have not met me before, I'm Dominick Cosgrove, CTO or CPO at WorkPoint. Need to update that slide. Today's agenda is, as I say, about template management. So why are templates so important? What templates are available in WorkPoint? And how WorkPoint solves real business problems. And obviously, I want to give you kind of an insight of what the future holds as well for template management in WorkPoint. So anyone that's attended any of my webinars before know that I like to focus on why is template management so important. So for me, template management is really around making sure that there's standardization, data quality, compliance, efficiency, adoption, and flexibility. And I'll go into a little bit more about those as we go into each of the template options we have. And I'd also hopefully drive through some demos as well, rather than just slides. So some of the common challenges we see that are out there through our customers, our partners, and real world experiences are, are your organizations at risk from your policy being non-compliant with users using the wrong templates? Are users using the right versions of templates? I always come back to a story that I had where the users were very used to saving a template on their desktop or locally, but obviously they took that at a point in time and that quickly becomes out of date, and that has real implications because not only are they not using the right version of the template could actually be wrong. Do the users know where the templates are stored? In SharePoint, you can have templates stored anywhere within the system. Apologies about this.
Actually, we have right now a little bit of an issue with Dom, so I will take care about this a few seconds. He will be back right now, so that's absolutely no problem, and that's fine. So Dom, I heard you talk,
Apologies, I'm back. And anyone that knows me knows I have dogs, and working from home is a joy. Having a delivery during a webinar is far from ideal. So apologies about the noise. Hopefully they will calm down in a second.
I will send live your screen again. That's totally human, and it's totally fine.
Sorry about that. Now I have to remember where I was as well. So so do people know where templates are stored and what's the purpose of them? Are the templates easy to update, and are they regularly updated? Data quality, are people entering the right information at the right time from the right data sources? Are they manually copying information? Is adoption low because people don't know where to find things or put things in structure? Because templates aren't just about documents. Templates can be about structure in a site or in a library or in folders. That's all structured, and that's all templates. Branding. A lot of organizations have a very strong brand identity. Are you compliant with using old templates from a brand perspective? And are users being efficient when they're creating content? Do they start from scratch? Do they take old content and rework that? And then finally, and very importantly, do you know where your templates are being used? So if you need to go and do an audit and know that a specific version of a template was used at a specific time because it had some legal disclaimer, and what version of the disclaimer was used in the template, that's all very important as well. So these are some of the challenges we see and we want to solve from a WorkPoint perspective. So templates are everywhere in WorkPoint, and Florian kind of mentioned it's a feature. It's a collection of features. Templates are core in WorkPoint to ensure a structure on unstructured data. So we have solution templates. These are, and I'll go into each one of these in detail, but we have solution templates, business module templates, master site templates, what I like to call site templates. We have templates in Microsoft Teams. We have entity templates, list templates, and the list goes on. But I'll kind of go through each one of these in turn through the slides and the demos. But what I want to kind of touch on here is it's all about providing a structure within and when you're creating content within WorkPoint. So anyone that is familiar with WorkPoint will know that we have some standard solutions. We have our project management, case management, contract management, and HR management and management systems. So what these are the kind of predefined templates for a solution. We know one size doesn't fit all, but the good thing about our predefined solution templates are they are a great starter for people that want a, say, project or case management solution. So what do they provide? They provide that standard structure. They create business modules as we know them. So in this case, maybe in a project management solution, they might have a company, and you'll see in the image here, you've got company, you've got contacts, you've got projects, and you've got things like transmittals. So that each one of these would be a business module, and the whole thing together is a solution. They provide you with structure around the metadata and the entity lists. They also create pages, libraries, lists, etc., for managing things like risks or emails and documents. So that's all within a solution. So when you install a standard solution of WorkPoint, it's based off a standard template that you can go and create very quickly and get up and running. So that's our first kind of level and entry of a WorkPoint template. Then we have the idea of a business module template. So in the previous slide, if I just step back, as I said, a solution comprises of one or more business modules. So each one of these has its own template. So you're not confined to installing a WorkPoint solution, because you may actually want to use WorkPoint for a different function, say maybe ideas management or something like that, or legal matters management. So you can build your solutions using modules. So some of our standard modules include, contracts, cases, employees, complaints. These are other business modules that you can use to go and build out your solution. So when you're creating your WorkPoint solution in a custom way, you can actually use these business modules. So again, what does the business module provide? It's about the standard structure. It provides you with the entities list with all the metadata that you need to capture, but it also captures or creates list libraries. So in a contact, for instance, the metadata would be all about the address, the telephone number, the maybe the email address, etc. In a company, it would be about the VAT number, the company contacts, those sort of structures. So that's what a business module brings. And down to the next level, you have now master site templates. So master sites are a way that we can ensure that every project or every contact or every employee has the same logical structure. So in this case, you can see an example of a project, and I'll show it in a demo, where every project created in a WorkPoint solution has the same structure. So it has the same lists and libraries, it has the same features, has the same pages, navigation. So when users come into a WorkPoint project site, every project is exactly the same. And I use projects most of the time through the examples today, but you can take that to an employee or to a contact or to a company perspective. And it drives adoption because it ensures a standardization. People are familiar with the layout. If you use standard SharePoint, every time you go and create a new project, the navigation could be different, the pages could be different. So people get confused jumping between sites that there's no common structure. So that's our master site concept. Microsoft Teams also has become more popular. Microsoft Teams is now becoming one of the de facto tools if you're using Microsoft 365 for collaboration. But if you're using standard vanilla Microsoft Teams, you have to go and create the channels each time. You have to go and add the tabs. You have to go and configure the settings, which means that when you're jumping or moving or navigating between teams, the structure is different every time, and is it efficient for the users to go and create the structure every time. So again, this drives, similar to the master sites, it drives adoption to ensure all teams are created the same for each business module. So I think the best way to show some of this is actually through a demo. So I will jump out and I will show a few of these elements that I've already discussed. So the first thing I would like to show is our business module. So this is in WorkPoint administration, and we have this concept of business modules. So you can see in this solution, I have 4 business modules: companies, contacts, transmittals, and projects. I can go and create a new business module, and this could be, matters. And here I can go and take a predefined template. So maybe it's actually a better example is complaints, and I'll put in complaints. And when I use this business module, it'll create all the assets for me. I don't have to worry because it's actually creating it from a template. I won't do that for now, but I just wanted to show the idea of our business modules. The next thing I wanted to show is the master sites. So I have this projects business modules, which belongs to companies. When I come in here, I can see that all the metadata for every project is the same. And if I come into the template for the master project, I can see that it has a page with documents, risk matrix, tasks, up and coming events, relations, and project teams. But I can also see my navigation on the left-hand side has things like under document management, documents and emails. Under project management, it has things like tasks, project plans, risks, etc. So this is a structure that I have put it in place, and I want every project to make sure that it has the same structure. Navigation is also very important, making sure that the right tools are available. So these are all elements that can be configured in a template for a project. So if I now go and have a look at some instances of projects, I can come in here and look at my projects. I can come into this carbon bearing project, and hopefully you'll see that this is a running project. Now it has some risks in it, it has some content, but the structure stays the same. So as a user, I know that if I need to get documents or emails, that sits under document management. If I need to go to my risks, I can just come to risks under the, and every list has the same structure within it as well. So if I go back to my master project and I go into risks, I can see that the risk has, sorry, the risk list has all these properties. And if I go into the instance of a risk, so I have a project for a risk, and I see here, I can see now that this project actually has some active risks with different probabilities and severities, etc., but it's using the same metadata. So again, it's providing a common structure across all projects. And the final thing I wanted to show in this demo was also the Teams template. So within this master team, I have some channels that are predefined, so general, design, risk, and test. And I have some tabs under each of those channels. So maybe the home page I want to show for the project, and I might want to show, those sort of different tabs. I also have things around settings as well. So if I do manage team, I have things like settings, and maybe in the organization, I want to make sure that members can't go and create or update. So I might disable that. And that would ensure every project that's created from this team has the same settings. So I can go in and have a look at this project up here. And I can see that this project has the same channels. And if I go to the home page, that this project is another active project with the same structure. And if I go back to my project management solution, and just to reiterate this, I can go to my carbon bearing project, open up Teams, and typically it's not showing here, but there should be a carbon bearing project. It's probably in my hidden teams, but you get the idea of the common structure for each of the teams. So that was my introduction to some of the core concepts. These have been around in WorkPoint for a long time. We're constantly evolving them, but this is a core construct of why we built WorkPoint in the first place and the value add that it brings. So if I continue my slide deck, and typically it's the wrong way around, so I'll just change that. So document templates. So document templates are extremely important in, oh, didn't mean to do that, apologies. So yeah, document templates are important in every organization. So WorkPoint has a smart document creation function. We ensure that we have one centralized location. In fact, today we actually support multiple locations, but the idea is you can have centralized management of your templates. So you know where they are, they can be put into your document control process to ensure that the users are using the right version and users aren't going all over different sites to go and get different information or different templates. SharePoint natively doesn't have a good templating solution. They use things like content types and content type hubs, but the problem with that is what happens when you have hundreds, if not thousands, of templates within an organization. It just becomes unmanageable. So we solve that through our centralized template management. Sometimes you also need to guide a user through the use of templates. It's not always intuitive and to know what a template is for just by the name. So our wizards guides the users through the creation of a document template or a document from a template and gives them very clear instructions on how to do that. Our templates are smart, as I say. You know, we can load dynamic content. So, you know, if I'm talking about a project who's inserting into the document the project manager, the project code, the project status reports, and this can be really smart in the fact that it doesn't necessarily just have to be single bits of information. It can actually be, if you had a list of status reports, you could actually show all the status reports for the project. Or if you were to be transmitting documents, you could show all the documents that are in a transmittal. So you can have some really smart dynamic content within your template. Targeting is very important because you need to say, okay, well, this template, where should it be used and by whom and for what language? So through our targeting capabilities, we can actually say, well, these set of templates should only be used for projects. These set of templates should only be used for cases, etc. In some organizations, especially enterprise type organizations, you can end up with lots of templates. So how do you find the right template? So a good search capability is important, but also, again, in that guided experience, you know, having an ability to preview the template before you create the document from it is very important. I know myself, I quite often would historically have gone and looked at a template gallery from a file share or something like that, or within a SharePoint site, and not being able to know just by the name of the template what's its purpose. As I said previously, one of the issues we see is actually about the document control around templates. So are the right versions being used? Are they being versioned? Are only published versions of the documents being used? So we support the full version control as well. And I'll go into some of these other things as well, like being able to create a set of documents at one time. You know, in many document control processes, you don't just go and create one document. You typically would go and create maybe 5 or 6 documents at the same time. So how do we solve that? And another type of document template is also emails. We also support having templates for emails. So I think the best way to do this is to show again. So if I go back to my example here, I'll just go to the home of the solution. In this case, I have a list and I have my template library. So here I have a set of templates that can be used within the solution. But what I can do through, if I select this document, I can set some metadata on that document. So I can say, well, what business module should support it? Is it active or inactive? Some guidance, you know, why should you use this document? What's the purpose of this template? When should I use it? You can categorize your templates, especially if you have lots of templates. You can use the categorization. And language, for instance, you know, if it's a French template, should it only be available for the French language users? So those are some of the kind of the metadata that you can put on templates. And the key thing here is having the centralized area for managing your templates. As I say, we support smart and dynamic content. So if I go in and I maybe modify this template, here's my template. You know, I've got things like the project name coming in. I've got project number, title, company, etc. And I can add additional information if I want. So under here, I've got all the information that I have in my WorkPoint solution. So maybe it's the project size I want to add. Maybe the wrong place. So that might be related to budget or number of users or the hours. So that gives you an idea of how easy it is. I can just add additional information literally by going and selecting what properties I want to show. The important thing here is I can actually show not only information about the project, but I can also show information about its parent as well. So if a project belong to a company, I can show the company information. So maybe the company name that the project's related to. So I'm not going to save that. So obviously that's, you know, typically we would say, you know, you'd have a template managers or set of people that are authorized to create templates, but everyone can consume templates. So from an end user perspective, let's go and create a new document. So if I go into a project, I'll go back into my carbon bearing project. So from anywhere within WorkPoint, within the project, I have this new document button. This can be controlled, so you can say, you know, different options for different types. So cases could have a different, so create case document or create project document. But in this case, it's just new document. It opens up a wizard. I can give it a name. I can see all the content type and where it's going to be saved. I'm going to change the location. Maybe I want to put it into project management because I have a standardized folder structure. And here I got the option to say, choose an alternative template. So typically in SharePoint, you just have the one document, create document. Here I've got an option to create different ones. So I'm going to take this project description, which is the one I saw earlier. I have the template preview. I've also got the purpose or the guidance, and I'm quite happy with that. So I can now go and say, okay, well, should I save and edit online, or should I just save and close? So I do save and edit online. So what's this doing as I'm creating the document is actually pulling the information from my WorkPoint solution and putting the information in to the template. So now I can see that there's a you know, some project information like the project budget, the project completion, start date, the name, the company, etc. I can see who the project manager is, and I can see also the status report. So it's showing me the latest status report in this case. So that's great. I've created my document. I can close this one, I think. Oh, no, maybe not. Apologies. I'll have to go back in. So under documents, project management, I'm pretty sure I created it in here. So I have my document that was created based on the template. But as I said previously, sometimes it's not an individual document you want to create. You might want to go and create a set of documents. So under here, I have document management, and I've got this document set. This is all configurable as to what I want to call it and where I want to place it. But I'm going to create a document set. So this is a little bit of a different template. I can select my languages. So do I want all, just Danish? What type of template group is it? So company documents or project documents. I'll say project documents. I got things like, okay, these are calculation document set, details and description, NDAs, and reports. So I'll take the reports example. I've got an Excel and 2 Word documents. You're getting a warning here to say, okay, well, you know, this hasn't been set up for merging, but it kind of gives you the idea. And I can also say I don't want these ones. And the system administrator can also set ones that are compulsory. So if I do that, and then I do finalize, I can then say, okay, well, because I'm creating a set of documents, what do I want to do? Do I want to create them as individual files? So maybe I want to put them into my project management. Do I want them as individual files so I get 3 files? Or maybe I want to create them as a merged file into one document or document set. So in this case, I'm just going to create them as individual files. I can edit the properties on it and I can click save. So what this is doing now is creating the 3 documents at the one time. So now I can see the new documents that have just been added a few seconds ago. Another important feature and one of the challenges I mentioned earlier that we look to solve is actually finding when a template has actually been used. So if I come back here and I do document set and I select ports and I say maybe this this one, and I say this document description, I can do a search across the whole of WorkPoint to find where that template has been used and who's used it, etc. So another way that I can actually see and do a kind of an audit trail, so I can see that it's actually been used in these dockets, and maybe I just wanted to see in the last couple of days. So you can see there's some tests and demos and things like that. So that gives you an idea of the ability to find templates and their usage. Obviously, I've been working very much within the sort of standard SharePoint, but you can do the same in Teams and you can do the same in WorkPoint Express. So here I'm on a financial statement entity and I have a document library, and here I can go create new document from template or create new document set. So I'll do from template, and you'll see the exact same experiences from WorkPoint Express. So I can go 3, 4, I think, and I can put it into, okay, there's only one folder, and I can select the template. There's only one template in this, but you get the idea that the approach and the user interface is exactly the same, no matter what client you're using from WorkPoint. So I think that's what I wanted to show from a document template perspective. Let me see if I can go back into presentation mode. It, for some reason, keeps wanting to do that. So smart template management, you know, not all content are documents. You know, content can be lists, folders, items. You know, there's many different types of content you can have nowadays, especially in SharePoint and Microsoft 365, and we want to support all of those. So, excuse me. So recently we've included support for multiple template libraries, so for lists, for document libraries as well. You can also create templates, as I say, for different things such as tasks or risks. You can also do some smart calculations or auto calculations based on some rules. So maybe if it's a task, you want to assign a task to the project manager or the case owner or the case responsible. You may actually, if it's a task, you may want to set some smart calculations on due dates or those sort of things, or start date of a task. So you could do things like end of month minus 5 days, the 1st of March next year, 1 week before a deadline. So you can start really being smart about creating content dynamically and putting these sort of rules in. So I think the best way is to demonstrate this. So I will go to a different solution and I'll go to a case management solution in this example. So if I go into cases, and I'll do revision 21. So if I just come down here, apologies, I should have cleared out my tasks. And up here I have a button, but it doesn't have to be a button. It could be triggered by other events. But in this case, I want it to be manual. I want to create tasks, events, or trigger. So here again, I have a very similar interface to creating a document template, but this time I'm actually creating list items. So just before I step into that, I should have shown you the list template. So if I go back to my solution. So in the last solution, I had one list called template library, but now I have a task template library and a folder template library. So if I go into my task template library, I have a whole list of tasks with a common structure. But what I have is a lot of metadata about the task, so categories, priorities, standard tasks, but I can also say whether it's an active task, so very similar to the document templates, but I can also set the category, is it required, the business module, so maybe I only want to show the ones that are related to cases. And maybe it's the category is only request. So now I've got a subset of tasks. So you can start building out your cases tasks within a task library. So that's where you store and manage your tasks, but there's also additional columns such as, number of days to offset, months to offset, recurrence, allow multiple. So I'll show you these from the end user perspective, but this is where, similar to the document template managers, the task managers will come in here and manage the tasks. So if I go back into my case, Vision 21, I can do create a task. And here I've got my template groups. So maybe it's an insurance and it's administration. So now I get a subset of tasks or evaluation, different tasks. And where it's marked as red, the administrator has said that they're required, so I can't deselect them. But if I went into maybe here, I could deselect that task. So I'll do the evaluation. So I've got 5 tasks. I can make modifications to them. I can say which list to put them in. And this is all configurable from the administrator's perspective. So here I can now see that I have a number of tasks being created. I can see the due date has been exceeded because I had some dynamic or calculated values. So I can see that this is set for the 8th of the 12th. I can see that it's been assigned to hopefully the case responsible. So I'm dynamically setting all of these properties and values when I'm creating the task. So just from, I don't want to go into too much of the technical side of things, but I can see solution. From a configuration perspective, it's very easy. So now I have the ability to have multiple template libraries. I've got this task list library, and its list is type is list. The other 2 are libraries, but I can see that I have where that library is, and I can come in here and I can edit, and I can set things like, the case responsible. So I can say whether it's in the business module case, where case responsible equals. So I can do mappings and make sure that they're enabled. So it's very easy from a administrator to set up. One of the important things that I probably didn't touch on previously, but in WorkPoint, we kind of really think that content shouldn't be stored in like a master site or site template, because content should be more dynamic. If you create it all at the time of site creation, the content will be out of date. So we really think that content should be provisioned when it's needed rather than provisioned in advance. So this is why this is such an important feature for us. So the final thing I wanted to show was actually a similar concept, but this time with folders. So folder structures is, again, a template. It's very important to have a standardized set of folders. Sometimes you don't need, you might only need a subset of folders for the initial stage of a project, and then more folders as the project goes through its life cycle. So if I just come to statements, and I'll go to the financial statement of Michael. Here I can see I've got an empty document library. And I could come here and do manually add a folder, give it a name, build out the whole hierarchy. But that's inefficient, and I'm much better to say, okay, well, I need to go and create my folders. Again, here I can come in and I can look at my folder templates. And in this case, I've only got one folder structure. This can be very hierarchical as well. I can say which folders are required and which ones I want to create. But in this case, I want to create all three of these folders straight away. So by clicking that, I've now got my standardized folder structure. And if you think about cases where you might have a standardized project structure, but different parts of the business or region use different folder structures, you could actually allow the users to create the folder structure they need for their business area. So that's what I wanted to show from a list templating and folder templating perspective. So I wanted to give you some insights to what the future holds. So obviously I showed you our wizard capability. We're reimagining that. We're going to be introducing a new process management framework. Hopefully you've seen our WorkPoint Explore video about that. But this will give more functionality around dynamic content creation. So it's a big area for us, and I think it'll give a lot of opportunities for our customers. Reusable content in documents. So obviously I showed you the dynamic content being created, but there's also a concept of reusable content. Maybe it's legal disclaimers or generalized footers or those sort of things. And we want to bring that sort of functionality into WorkPoint. And the important thing is to know where that reusable content has been used as well, and make sure that it's always using the latest version. Integration with other business data from other business sources. So this will align also with our process management framework approach, where you might want to bring information in from your CRM system, your ERP system, into the document and generate it not only from WorkPoint information, but also from your line of business information. Microsoft Teams, we support a number of tabs today, and a number of the channels and the settings. And as Microsoft open up more templating capabilities for us, we'll introduce those into the product. But we definitely want to support more things like Planner, To Do, etc. Tabs into our product. And then finally, we also, as I said, we have our solution templates, and we want to kind of create more vertical solution templates. So things around maybe construction, project management, rather than generic project management. So these sort of additional templates in the future. So Florian, I don't know if we got any questions during that.
That's absolutely impossible. With this presentation, there are no questions allowed. No, I think it was very, very interesting, and also you can see that we can use nearly for every content we create, we can use templates, and that's very interesting for me as well. So of course I have no questions to you, Dom. But we still have no questions also from our audience. But I think that's because the presentation was really good. So if we don't have any questions, we will wait a little bit, but I will speak about one interesting thing for us as well. So if you want to get more information, Dom mentioned it before, I highly recommend the YouTube channel from WorkPoint 365 Explore. So there you can find also interesting videos, interviews, like the process management framework Dom mentioned. And also we have a tips and tricks category where you can see, for example, how you can use templates. So visit our channel and enjoy the videos. Also, we have on the 16th of December, we will have another interesting webinar, a big topic. Dom, you will be here again. I'm very happy for this. We will sit together and we will speak about the bridging the gaps in SharePoint with WorkPoint. So I think that's very, very interesting to see what we can do with WorkPoint on top of SharePoint. So don't miss this webinar. And if you have any questions or problems, do not hesitate to visit our homepage and get in contact with us. We are ready to solve your problems. So if there are no questions, still no questions, Dom, like perfect presentation. Thank you very much for joining the webinar and thank you very much for watching. Bye.